So that's a video machine, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So say your name.
My name, Randle Pollard. I was named after both of my grandfathers, both on my mother's side and my father's side.
So how long were you in the armed forces before World War II?
Uh, I went into the armed forces in October 1943, and I was discharged in January 1946. So basically, I was in a little over 26 months.
Okay. What exactly was your position and rank in your division?
Uh, my my rank varied from time to time, and of course, you know, when you go into the army, you're made a private. At that time, you're made a private, uh, and then from there you try to work yourself up, because of the fact that I was drafted out of college, and I'd had ROTC in college for nearly 2 years. I felt that it would be very easy for me to go into officers training. But there were a lot of things that prevented this, because of the fact that I would get into to units who had very specific things to do and who were frozen in place. So I became a PFC, a private first class, about 4 months, 5 months after I went into service, and I felt that I would advance very rapidly to corporal and sergeant, and like so. But because of the fact that I went into an outfit that had been activated in 1943, and I arrived there in April of 1944, the non-commissioned officer spots were basically filled. So if the platoon had spots for two corporals or three corporals and two sergeants, there were already individuals in those spots. So a young 18-year-older trying to advance in the Army was fairly difficult, because there were older individuals who had been in the service since 1941, 1942, who were there before you, and were basically in the non-commissioned officer spots. And I was prevented from going to officers training school, OCS, because of the fact that the units, the outfits that I was placed in, were frozen because they were destined to go overseas.
Mhm. Where were you when you first heard about Pearl Harbor, and what was your immediate reaction?
I was a senior in high school, and it was on a Sunday, and and this is in Evanston, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. I left church, and I went to a friend of mine's house, and we liked to make malted milks. And he had a machine that he was given for Christmas, that it was fairly easy to do this. So we had the malted milk powder, we had the milk, and we had the ice cream, and as we were making this malted milk and listening to the Bears football game, I've forgotten just exactly who they were playing that Sunday. There was an announcement made that the Japanese had attacked us at Pearl Harbor. So our first reaction was, they're crazy, that we'll wipe them off the map. But that took a little time.
When were you when and where were you first deployed, and how did you feel when you were leaving?
Well, I was 18 years old, and when you're 18, you feel that only good things are going to happen to you, and no bad things, and you feel like you're going to live forever. So that's the attitude that most young soldiers have, and that's one of the reasons that the Army likes young people. Young, they don't like. They'll take them, but they'd rather that you be 18 or 19. They'd rather that you be unmarried, because you have a different attitude. In fact, the attitude of the young soldier, 18, 19 years old, was this was another game of cops and robbers, or Indian and settlers, and that we'll go in there and we'll clean them up and go home. This took a little while, and the thing that was kind of difficult about it was the fact that they also had been trained to be soldiers, and they basically were shooting at you while you were shooting at them.
What were, like, in your neighborhood and your family and your friends, what were their reactions to the war, and were they mainstream compared to the rest of the United States, or were they different and
They were mainstream, and basically the whole United States had a very different attitude about World War II than it had about World War I, and that it's had about any war since. Everyone felt involved. They felt that we had been attacked, and that we were going to that we were fairly unprepared, but we'd all take care of it. And there was a universal draft when you got 18 years old. You had to sign up for the armed forces, and then usually within a period of a year or less, you were inducted into the Army. So the general feeling in the community, the general feeling in my family, was that we had been attacked and we were reacting to it, and everybody will get involved. Not only were the young men going to war, but the young ladies were going into to war industries and making tanks and airplanes and this and that and the other.
Describe